Alright, hello. Let's move over to the actual stream. Howdy! Yes, I am live with a Nintendo Direct predictions bingo stream, where I'm going to make a predictions bingo live with all of you. I've been travelling a whole bunch over the last week, all of this weekend, Father's Day, trying to see some friends before I go to Japan in a few weeks, and all this, and Nintendo announced in this Direct, like, actually less than 24 hours. Well, no, actually, no, exactly 24 hours in advance. Didn't really give me much time to make a predictions video. I'm sure most people made theirs in advance and only released it now, but I just didn't have the time. Music too loud? Let's fix that. How's it sound now? In fact, I might change this playlist to a different one before we go, although sure it's all fine. Let's find a different prediction. Let's find a different track list to play for. This one. I'm gonna do this one. And we're gonna go here. We're gonna have some summer tropical vibes for this stream because it's the summer direct. Oh, doesn't look like. Let me refresh the YouTube thing as well on the stream because there's a lot of comments coming through. The chat's it's coming through on the stream anyway. So hopefully that sorts everything else. Also, hi Creeks. Should have said that first before acknowledging. So let me know how do I sound compared to the music now? Is it all alright? I can still make it quieter if people would prefer. But I'm just gonna minimize. Yeah? Yeah, still should I still make it quieter? Okay. Hi Cyberwolf. Let me know if it's now suddenly too quiet. getting the audio numbers on this always can be a pain in the bum. But I do not want to touch XSplit once I'm ready to go into this, because I mean anyone who saw the roster stream we did last time, the multiverses one, that crashed right at the end because I just had too much stuff open and going on. In fact, I'm going to close that as well. I'm going to close Discord. Not my own bingo in the background, nice. Alright, yeah, yeah, mate, we'll see if you can get some inspiration from me. Alright, so what I've done is I've already prepared what I think my predictions are, 24 predictions, that's what I was doing over the last hour. But I haven't decided where on the bingo card they're going to go. So that's what this is all going to be. Yeah, of course, Geist 2. Geist 2's the center one, it's the free square, because it's guaranteed to be there. You all know that, so I don't need to put it on there, because it's just so obvious. So, what I've done for here is I've got stuff I expect to see, a few things that I don't expect to see, both first and third party, although it is mostly first party. And just maybe a few things that I'd also like to see, obviously. I mean... there are some things I'm expecting to see, some things I'm liking to see. The main thing, though, is that I've been trying my best to avoid following any leaks and rumours. There are obviously some from way beyond that I've not been able to ignore. Whether they're true or not, who's to say? We all know how the leaks and rumours stuff has blown up. But there might be a couple of things on here that you've seen me talk about before, in like on Discord or on a previous Nintendox Talks or on Twitter. And I've also not done the Among Us. I haven't put Among Us on here because we know... Well, we don't know that's going to be there, but the Among Us trailer accidentally dropping was what kind of clued us into the direct date. And given that that did match up, I'm pretty sure that's going to be there. So I didn't want to include it because it's just obvious. Theme plus date for the Splatoon Summer Nights. Yeah, potentially. So I'm just going to go down. I'm going to start with a really easy one on this first. We're not going to get anything about Silksong. No Silksong stuff. That may as well be the free space, to be fair. But there's a chance that we'll get something. But I don't think so. So that one's going to be there. And so obviously it's just there right now. But I'm going to move where it is. Let's see where the number generator lands for us. 22. That is actually space 22. Okay, well, perfect. I don't have to move it then. Alright, well, seeing as people are bringing up Splatoon, I have one Splatoon one here, so let's do that one next. And that's Splatoon Amiibo. I think that we're going to see some Splatoon Amiibo. I know that through various little data mines it looks like we are going to get to, this is the time to get some. And this may as well be as well an update on what's happening in Splatoon 3, because originally it was announced to be ending at this point of in time, this final season, but clearly that's not the case anymore. So I think they're going to bring that up here with Amiibo news. So where are we going to put that on here? Space number 10. Okay, that's one to the side. Where have I got Amiibo on here? Okay. Slide you along. Perfect. I'm going to put at the... I'll do after the stream is I'll put the actual, like... I'll put some words on here for people to make it easier to read on Twitter and stuff. You don't need that now, I'm explaining it. Ooh, Cyberwolf said something, so let's bring something relevant, so let's bring that up. I also want to see Mamoru no Bakaru get a localization, and I feel like this could be a chance for it. For me, at least, I hope this is the chance for it, because if we don't get Mamoru no Bakaru localization announcement here, I am just going to buy it when I'm in Japan, and just assume that it will never get localized. But if they do announce it, that'll save me about like £40 probably. And also having to carry it around with me on my trip. So where are we going to put Mamoru no Bakaru on here? Number 12. Okay. Good feel. Oh, I'll cut all of that out there. I didn't make these icons particularly clean. Pop. They're just hidden behind the red. So okay. Mamoru no Bakaru, that's that one. Okay, so let's go for something I've talked about before. Go for an easy one. I think we're going to get a new Mario Party in this Nintendo Direct. So, Mario Party Superstars... Not Superstars, sorry. Super Mario Party 2 is specifically what I think we're going to get. And I think they'll announce that and it's coming out in like October. So that gets 17. Where is number 17? 13, 14, 15, 16. Right above Silksong. So really, that's that. If I want that upwards bingo, I really need Silksong to not be here. N-Cubed helped with everybody once. Yeah, they were only a co-developer. So the last game they released was Mario Party Superstars. The last game they fully developed was Mario Party Superstars, I should say. Although I do wonder whether or not because obviously everybody wants to Switch got delayed, and I do wonder whether or not N-Cube came in to help restore development, or whether they were developing it first, the bad version, and Nintendo had to step in themselves to fix it, like how that works. Maybe an announcement for Metroid Prime 4? Good thing you brought that up, because yes, I do think that Metroid Prime 4 will finally be revealed tomorrow. Like, proper gameplay and stuff, because I'm still convinced this isn't going to be... If this is like a cross-platform game... No, you see, I just don't. Because I think the Switch 2 is going to be backwards compatible. And I think if the Switch 2 is going to be backwards compatible, then there's no point in releasing, like, Switch 1 and Switch 2 versions of the same game. Like, you know how Sony does it with PS4 and PS5 and they release two versions. I don't think there's any reason to do that if the Switch 2 is going to be able to play every single Switch 1 game. Because you'll have, like, the version of Metroid Prime 4 on Switch that you can play on both systems, or a version that you can only play on Switch 2. And I would imagine, rather, you just have the Switch version and it would get, like, an enhanced update. Or something that would just open on Switch 2 mode if you use the Switch 2 version of the game. So because I'm convinced Metroid Prime 4 needs to be a Switch 1 game because that's what they announced it for, I think that it has to come out before Switch 2 does. And with that logic in mind, I think this is the last time they're going to be able to really show it off, and I think they want to make a big splash, not just a Twitter announcement. So even if it comes out early next year, Metroid Prime 4. I think that's what's going to happen. So where are we putting Prime 4? 22, we've already got 22. Silksong's there. 9, okay. And if we're talking about Metroid Prime 4 already, I also think we're going to be getting ports of Prime 2 and Prime 3 coming to the Nintendo Switch. I don't think they're going to be like Metroid Prime Remastered, where it's like properly full done up. I think if that was the case, we'll have already seen Metroid Prime 2 by now. So rather, I think they're going to be more in line with Pikmin 2 plus 3, where they are like more in line with how they originally were, but with some mods put in place to make them work with the new control scheme. Because obviously Metroid Prime 3 uses a lot of motion controls. And while you could do that with the Joy-Con, I think they would want to have the option to let you do it with just a controller. So that'd have to be a bit of work, but I think the idea of what I'm trying to get across is it's not going to be as visually stunning as Prime Remastered and won't be marketed as Prime 2 or Prime 3 Remastered. It'll just be Prime 2 and Prime 3, and you'll be able to buy them separately on the eShop. Maybe together in a bundle, maybe they'll sell them separately physically as well, but for cheaper physically, like Metroid Prime Remastered was. That's just the feeling I'm getting. I'd love to be wrong. For this to count on my bingo, it needs to be Prime 2 and 3 shown off. Not just... If they announce Prime 2 Remastered only, then I don't get this. What have we got in chat? I think there'll be another farming game announced. Farming game is another free space option. It's just... That's always what it is. So, where are we putting Prime 2, Prime 3? In 7. So 7... Can I do math? 7 is here. Cool. Someone brought up the Pokemon Legends ZA. I do not think we'll get anything from Pokemon Legends ZA. I think they're going to save that for the Pokemon Presents that will inevitably happen in August, because that's when it's always been happening. So because of that, I think they're just not going to acknowledge it. Plus, it is a 2025 game, and I think all of these games are going to be focused on being Switch 1 only titles that come out before the Switch 2 does. And I think the Pokemon Legends ZA will come out after the Switch 2 does. So, hell, it might even be a Switch 2 game, but I don't think it will be. I think it will be a Switch 1 game post-Switch 2 launch. Hi, Marco. So yeah, so Pokemon Legends ZA. And we'll be putting that in space number 19. So where is that? 22, 21, 20... Over here. Okay, speaking of other things that we're not going to get, I think this is going to be one that's somewhat controversial, just given how rumours and leaks have been going and stuff like this. But I decided to be a bit bold with this one. I do not think we're going to be getting Fire Emblem remakes in this Direct. I've been ruminating on it for a bit. And I actually think that they're going to hold off on the rumoured Genealogy of the Holy War remake until next year. Potentially doing the exact same thing they did with the last Fire Emblem remake, where Shadows of Valentia came out on 3DS after the Switch had already launched. I think this Genealogy remake might end up being in a similar situation to Pokemon ZA, where it's actually a post-Switch 2 game. If I was in charge at Nintendo, I would make it exclusively a Switch 2 game and have it be the first Fire Emblem game on Switch 2. But I don't think Nintendo are going to do that, especially just given that it's been in development for Switch 1 for so long, according to the rumours. So, I don't think we're going to be getting Fire Emblem. And where are we putting this? We're putting this in number 3. Okay, so no Fire Emblem and no Silk Song. and this middle row might be mine. So, big game coming to NSO or update. Okay, I've got 3 NSO things on here. So let's just go through them all one by one. Let's start with the easy one. I think there's going to be an F-Zero 99 update information, because that game is still getting updates, and I've seen it be tossed around that the update cycle for F-Zero 99 actually ends like tomorrow or Wednesday, like some point this week. So I think them announcing what the next plans are for F-Zero 99 or not will be tomorrow. I think they will have updates. I think it's been popular enough that they'll keep it going, and I think they can get a big push by doing a bigger update. Maybe with like Satellaview stuff, that'd be neat. Or just original tracks, whatever they want to do. See, not the next 99 game. I don't think there's going to be a new 99 game. I just think F-Zero 99 is going to get something. And Google says that is number 2. So let's put that there. Okay, then what have I got next? Oh yeah, I was going through all the NSO updates. So the next one on my list of NSO is that I think we're going to be getting a Nintendo 64 and GBA roadmap for the next year. Just because they've done it in the past, we don't know what else is coming to Nintendo 64 and Game Boy Advance. And because I'm fully expecting that to be there, I didn't want to have it here, like as a space, just that we're getting an update, because that's boring. So I thought I'd be a bit more specific. I think in this roadmap for N64 and GBA, Wario Land 4 will be one of the games. This is how specific I'm going. We're getting Wario Land 4 on NSO in the next year, and that will be confirmed in a roadmap update in the Direct tomorrow. And we're getting that's going to be number 24. It's right at the end. So that's my hyper-specific NSO update. And then the last NSO one I'm going to have, this is my boldest prediction of them all. I think we're going to get a new system shown off for NSO. The next one, it's going to be a part of the expansion pass service. And I think that next system is going to be the Dreamcast. I think we're jumping straight to the big boy on this one for Sega. I think Sega's been pushing a lot of their Dreamcast era titles. So I think we might see them come to NSO. Probably with like Sonic Adventure as one of the first ones. Choo Choo Rocket, maybe. So I'm going that. Dreamcast on NSO is one of my choices. I did think about TurboGrafx. TurboGrafx or Game Gear would be my other choices, but I only wanted one for the bingo card, so I went as big and bold and brash with Dreamcast. Cool. No Saturn? No Saturn, I'm afraid. Not right now. Alright, what else do I want to go for? I guess I can go for another potentially bold one, maybe? I don't know how bold this is. I don't know what people are saying about this one. But I think we might get a Donkey Kong Country game in this Direct. It's not showing. Where have I put it? Oh, there he is. Whee! Yeah, I think it's about time for get a Donkey Kong game. Obviously, there have been rumours for a while about Donkey Kong coming back. I don't know how valid any of those rumours are, to be honest. I know the one where Vicarious Visions were working on a Donkey Kong game, that I believe. But whether Nintendo themselves are working on one, I don't know. But I think they're going to want a big game at the end of this year that appeals to the wider demographic. Like Metroid Prime 4 is obviously going to be a big game, but it's more aimed at the hardcore demographic. And I think letting Donkey Kong have a chance to shine with the theme park that also starts at the end of this year, like timing it for that. I think getting something Donkey Kong out, like a platforming Donkey Kong game, I should add, seems like a good shout. And I think that could be one of their big announcements in this Direct. So I've put Donkey Kong here. We've already got 22. That's Silk Song. 20. Okay. I need to cut that off as well. My hastily put together icons of just cropping out bigger images. Yeah, true. DKC 3 did release right at the end of the SNES and became big. Well, the SNES was huge for Donkey Kong, so that's not a massive surprise. Plus, DKC 3 is dope as all hell. It's better than the first Donkey Kong Country game. Oh, is it the 30th anniversary as well of Donkey Kong Country? Is it? Actually, yeah, no, that does sound right. Actually, maybe they could push. Maybe they could push that. Yeah, so Donkey Kong is something I would consider. The other option for a big game, that I want to see, is a Zelda game, specifically a 2D Zelda game. So I've put that on here specifically. It can't be a remake or a remaster of a previous Zelda game. It has to be a new 2D Zelda. I'm less confident about this one than I am about Donkey Kong. I think it could go either way. I don't know if there have been rumors about a 2D, like credible rumors, I should say. I think people were jumping on it because of that one code name that popped up that was like Edward. And I can see the logic behind it. Edward is a king, and Zelda code names are usually kings. And Link's Awakening was Richard, but Link's Awakening was only Richard because there was a character called Richard in the game already. And I don't know if anyone remembers from when Link's Awakening stuff leaked, but like the icon they were using on the Switch's UI, the beta icon, was just a picture of Richard for the Frog the Bells Tolls. So he was clearly called Richard because of the character, not just, it wasn't a coincidence. So I'm not sure if that code name necessarily is a Zelda, but also it could be a Zelda and could be a Switch 2 title. That's the other thing. We might not see Zelda here because it might be Switch 2. So I don't necessarily think there'll be remakes. Honestly, it could be Oracle remakes, could be Four Swords or Minish Cap remakes, but I don't think it will be. I think it'll be a new 2D Zelda. And even though I've used a Link Between Worlds for this, I don't think, again, it's not going to be a Link Between Worlds port, which is something I've seen people throw around as well. So, where am I putting this one? 15. That's down there. That's above Donkey Kong. So that's not a good sign for that row. I'd have to get both Donkey Kong and Zelda in one direct. Damn. Okay. Speaking of ports and stuff that I think people have been talking about, I've been traveling all day, so I've not really been online, but I did catch a tweet that said something Ace Attorney might happen in the Direct. I don't know how valid that is as a leak. I'm not actually sure what the source of it is. But I'm not convinced we'll see Ace Attorney 7 if there is something Ace Attorney on here. So I've decided to put good old Edgeworth onto my bingo card. So I think that if we're getting anything Ace Attorney related, it'll be announcements of the investigation duology being brought over in a collection. Because the collections have clearly done really well for Capcom. So at this point, they might as well, right? Like, these are the only two that haven't been haven't been brought forward yet, so do it. We'll do it. We'll do Edgeworth. And where am I going to put Edgeworth? Hi, Voyager. Yeah, I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well as well. Metroid's already in 7, 13, then 11, 12, 13. Yeah, we can do that. Yes. Your Donkey Kong country taste is Tropical Freeze 213. Mine's close. I think nostalgia causes 2 to go in front of Tropical Freeze for me, but Tropical Freeze is very good. Definitely better than 3. But I would put 3 above 1. Oh, excuse me. Have some tea. And Returns, I'd put Returns above 1 but below 3, I think. 1's just a bit archaic for me. It is comfy though. Atmospherically, it's probably atmospherically the first DKC is definitely the most comfy of them. DKC 3 is a bit weird and 2 is very dark. As we've already brought up Capcom, I'll do the other Capcom one. I think we're going to get something Mega Man related as well in this presentation. I'll be bold and I'll say we'll get a new Mega Man in this presentation, actually. I think that Capcom's been building up recently to something Mega Man related happening. We obviously got all the NSO games. I think that sparked a lot of thoughts from people about what we're going to see. If we're going to get anything Mega Man related, like why did they suddenly drop 5 Mega Man games on the NSO store? What was NSO store on the Game Boy NSO? What was the point behind that? I think they're gearing up for a new Mega Man, and there's no reason for them to not do a new Mega Man. Like Mega Man 11 sold decently well for what I imagine the budget of its game, the budget of the game was. And clearly Mega Man does way better with fans, like Nintendo fans, than other publishers. So putting it here, I mean, a collection. I would like a Legends collection personally, because I hear they're good games and I've never played any of them, like Legends 1, Legends 2, and Trombone. Like I'd be interested in picking that up. But for this prediction, it's got to be a new game, new Mega Man game. Man, this row is a tight one. Not row, column even. This column is a tight one. Man, Mega Man could really screw up this one for me though, if I don't get it. Because I'm pretty confident in these 3. As we're doing other big third parties as well, let's do another one. Is Dragon Quest. I think it's about time we see what those Dragon Quest, that Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D game is. Like, it's been ages since they showed them off. It might even been like 2 years in June, 2 or 3 years since they announced it. And I think it's time. Square like to have something in Nintendo Directs, and Dragon Quest is so heavily associated with Nintendo, especially Dragon Quest 3, that they'll do it in a Nintendo Direct for sure. So, where are we up to? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 is where Mario Party is. 4, okay. Dragon Quest goes in the top row. I thought about doing a small Nintendo-developed eShop game. I thought about putting new IP on here, but I don't know. I could have put Box Boy Collection on here. I do think a Box Boy Collection could happen, but I haven't included it as one of my predictions. What I have done for HAL instead is a Kirby spin-off. I think we'll see something Kirby related. I don't think it'll be Forgotten Land 2, although I'm sure that's well into development by now. But I do think some sort of lighter Kirby game. I used artwork for Battle Royale for the icon, but I don't necessarily think it'll be Battle Royale 2. I just don't think that did particularly well, the first Battle Royale. But something that's something bigger than Dream Buffet, but smaller than Return to Dreamlands and Forgotten Land. Something that falls into that ballpark. So yeah, something Kirby. Where are we putting you? 14. Right next to Edgeworth. Speaking of Donkey Kong music. Okay, what do I want to reveal next? Okay, as we were talking about collections before, and stuff that's already announced, I think we might see that Yu-Gi-Oh! Collection Konami randomly announced. That one of the 6 Yu-Gi-Oh! Games from the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance era. I think they're making a big deal out of it because most of them in that collection didn't get English localization. But they have confirmed that the collection is going worldwide. So for a lot of people in the West, this will be the first time they get to play any of these Yu-Gi-Oh! Games. So I think they'll probably want to do a bigger announcement for it. It was the Yu-Gi-Oh! Game. It was announced during, it must have been like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Championships in Japan last year. They just kind of dropped a press release saying like, yeah, we're bringing Konami's bringing 6 classic Yu-Gi-Oh! Games to modern systems. And then people weren't sure if it was coming just Japan only or not, because most of the games are Japan only ones. And then they confirmed, no, it's coming worldwide. So I thought that might be one here. 7, we've already got 7. 12, we already have 12. 3. 17. You know what? Okay, we're getting to the point now where it's not landing on them very much. So I'm going to put Yu-Gi-Oh! In number 1. Whatever's the closest... Oh, my terrible icons. Whatever's the closest to now, whatever the number generates, I'll put it there. So Yu-Gi-Oh! Speaking of GBA games, another one that's been announced, Shantae Advanced. So they began taking pre-orders for that back in February with limited run games, but they haven't, to my knowledge, we don't have a release date for it yet. So I think this is the time. Shantae is big with Nintendo fans. I think they'll enjoy getting the exposure from the Nintendo Direct. So I think getting a release date for Shantae Advanced makes sense as one of so that's one of my third-party picks in here. And we're putting it in 16, which actually doesn't have anything in it, so perfect. Oh wait, no, that's Yu-Gi-Oh! Still. Where's Shantae? There's Shantae. Cute. Speaking of other stuff, something that does... So this probably won't happen, but I was running out of predictions. Omega 6, the video game. So that comes out in Japan at the end of July. And I think it's confirmed to be coming to the West. I don't know if it's coming out the same day as it is in Japan in the West or not. But it is confirmed it's getting a physical release and stuff like this over here. And I think it has a tie, obviously, to Nintendo, with the creator being the artist for Star Fox and F-Zero and stuff. So I think showing it off in a Nintendo Direct makes sense. I think it might have been in a Japanese one in a previous, like maybe last September's or last June's, but on the Japan side only. But because we know it is coming out worldwide, I think they'll want to give it, and it's coming out soon in Japan, I think they'll want to give it a worldwide show. So I've included Omega 6 here. And I'm going to put it, 18. It's already in its perfect spot. Awesome. Great. Speaking of games that are coming out, but I haven't included on here, I didn't include Luigi's Mansion 2, and I didn't include Nintendo World Championship. They might show both of them off, just as reminders that they're coming out. But honestly, we've started to get a lot from Luigi's Mansion 2, and I'm pretty convinced that, like, there's nothing new in that game. Like, the second the official previews came out from journalists, I was like, yeah, okay, if there was anything new here, they would have confirmed it. So, and Nintendo World Championship, I think that first trailer did enough to show off basically everything we could expect to see from that game. So, I expect both of them to be here, because they're just two games that we know are coming up. But I didn't include them on the bingo card. What I did include on the bingo card is Luigi's Mansion 1 port to Switch. Now, I thought this would happen more recently, like as a shadow drop, similar to, again, how Pikmin 1 plus Pikmin 2 happened ahead of Luigi's Mansion 2's launch. I don't necessarily think that's the case anymore, to be honest. But I could still see them do it as a release for later this year, maybe on its anniversary in October, or for Halloween. I actually don't remember when Luigi's Mansion came out. It was a GameCube launch title, obviously, so it would have been somewhere between September to November, somewhere around there. They'll just drop it on the eShop, or maybe do a limited physical run again on the cheap. Afternoon, Gerard. I'm glad. Thank you for subscribing. I'm glad you thought you were subscribed as well, because it means, yeah, you maybe you did subscribe, and maybe YouTube just clonked it off. Either way, I appreciate that you've subscribed now. Where am I putting Luigi? 15, 13. Yeah, I'll put Luigi here. All right, 3 more to go. And if we're talking about ports, I've got one more port on here. It's one that's people have been throwing out as rumors for a while now, and rumors I think are somewhat credible, at least from some people. So, F-Zero GX port for Switch. I think I know there has been some actors who've thrown this one around where it's sort of hurt its credibility, but I also think enough insiders who know what they're talking about have thrown F-Zero GX out as well. So I'm still confident that it's a thing. So I'm going to include that. I think we'll see if it is a thing. If it really is a thing, I think this is the direct where they'll show it off. If it's not here in this direct, then I actually don't think it's happening. Outside of like Nintendo starts doing a massive GameCube game push on the Switch too, or we get GameCube NSO or something. That's when but that doesn't count. Nan, what is Omega 6? Omega 6 is a game by the artist behind F-Zero and Star Fox. It's based on his original manga. It's like an Super Famicom style adventure game, like detective point-and-click adventure game, where you play as 2 space bounty hunters, I think they are. It looks like, as a retro game fan, it looks like pretty good. I like the developer behind it, but they haven't really pushed it outside of a Japanese Nintendo Direct, despite the fact that it's getting an English localization and an English physical. But I think this is the time to show it, because the game comes out at the end of July for Japan, but I don't know when it comes out for us outside of Japan. Yeah, that one. I gotta throw it in here because I wanted to have a few more third parties, and my mind was drawing a blank. Pac-Man World 2 Repack would have been a good choice for this bingo card. Or some sort of Bandai Namco remaster, because they've liked doing that quite a lot. I mean, I don't know if... I would prefer if a Luigi's Mansion port had the 3DS features. It depends on how lazy Nintendo wants to be with it. Like, if they just do what they did for Pikmin 1+2 and what I think they're going to do with Metroid Prime 2 and 3... they'll just chuck it the GameCube version, and it won't have any of the 3DS features. If they go to Grezzo and ask Grezzo to do a port of it, or Tantalus to do a port of it, then maybe it will have the 3DS features. But that's we'd have to see. No, I actually didn't think about Mario and Sonic at the Paris Olympics 2024. That's not a bad shout, actually. I just didn't think about it. It's too late now. It's too late. What are my last 2? Where are they on here? Okay, yeah. Alright, I've got 2 fun ones to end this off on. So one of them, the first one, is... it's all the way up here. Yeah, Xenoblade stuff. So I think we're going to get more Xenoblade stuff. I've thought ever since we got the amiibo for Noah and Mio just randomly announced and released, to me that has said that Nintendo is working on something Xenoblade related that's not a mainline game or a port of X. Like, I know people want a port of X. I actually think that we might be getting like Xenoblade Warriors. Because what was the last Warriors game that the Nintendo Warriors game they did? Fire Emblem 3 Hopes? And that came out 2 years ago, right? And I feel like that's enough time between then and now for another Nintendo Warriors game to come out. There's already DLC for Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And I just think it's really suspicious that they just released these 2 amiibo. Because remember, these 2 amiibo didn't launch with Xenoblade 3. And they didn't launch with the Xenoblade 3 DLC either. They just launched later on. So I think, whether or not we get... this makes me think that we're going to get more Xenoblade amiibo. And I think we're going to get like an actual series of Xenoblade amiibo. And I think the game that will come with will be a Xenoblade Warriors game that has all of them. So Xenoblade 1, 2, and 3. Whether they make it like Hyrule Warriors, the first one, or the first Fire Emblem Warriors, where it's a big fan service game with all the characters coming together for a non-canon story, or whether they do 3 Hopes or Age of Calamity style, where it's a canon story that's like actually trying to fit into a universe. Because that's the thing, if they do a canon story, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is already quite well set up for that, being already a war between the Kavesi and the Agnians. So like you've already got a perfect setup for them to clash and stuff. And in that case, I think most of the characters will be from Xenoblade 3. Same for most of the amiibo, given these two we got. But I also kind of think that if they're going to do a Xenoblade Warriors, for the first Xenoblade Warriors, they're going to want to have all the big fan service characters in. So they're going to want to have Pyra, they're going to want to have Mithra, they're going to have Shulk and Melia. Well, Melia and Nia can be in if it's Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So that makes me think, unless they... Because Shulk and Rex are also in Xenoblade Chronicles 3 thanks to the DLC. So unless they do something like that and we get like Pyra and Mithra but like new designs for them, like what their older designs would be like, and then we get the same for like Rhine and Sharla and Morag and all of this, and we get their older designs, I'll put it. And then they might tie it into something actually Xenoblade 3 related. But I think regardless of how they do it, I think a Xenoblade Warriors game is happening and releasing this year. Potentially with or without Xenoblade Amiibo dropping. Although if Xenoblade Amiibo do drop, I don't think Pyra and Mithra will get one, but I think Shulk will, and I think Rex will. And that's only because I kind of envision Rex and Pyra and Mithra being a unit together. So like you play as Rex, like all the Xenoblade 2 characters would have their drivers and then their blades. And then they would like... I guess that's how they would have to work co-op because that's how it works in the game. I'm blathering on. You don't want to hear me talk about Xenoblade Warriors design gimmicks. But yeah, and I think Xenoblade Warriors fits stylistically with the Warriors format better than something like Mario or Kirby would. I know it would be funny to see a wacky Nintendo Muso game. I think the idea of doing a Pikmin Muso would be hilarious, because there's already hundreds of them around there. Imagine that you play as the 100 people having to fight one. That's basically what Pikmin is already. Just have it play like a Warriors game with an entire army. And like Olimar in the middle, like... And the last thing on my bingo card... Yeah! I think Nintendo is going to reveal some sort of alternative solution to sharing on Twitter. Social media stuff. I think they know that sharing images and videos from Switch directly to social media has been a massive boost, a big boon for all of their releases and sales and stuff like that. It's just people like doing it. I've been playing through the final parts of Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door over the last weekend, just on trains and stuff, and I've taken loads of pictures that I wish I could share on social media because they've just been funny moments, or just cool things I've seen. So I want to. And I'd want to share them, and I can't because they've removed Twitter support. I could share them on Facebook, but I only use Facebook for my like grandparents and stuff. So I don't think I can't imagine many of you in chat actively use Facebook. Maybe you do. You know, maybe I shouldn't be judging. But anyway, I think. With the way Twitter's gone, I mean, you never know what's going to happen with Facebook. I think Nintendo has been thinking to themselves that they want to make their own unmoderated alternative to sharing stuff somehow. So not as much of a social media network as Miiverse is, because as much as I love Miiverse, it's still a very enclosed social network where only people who had a Wii U and then eventually 3DS could do it. So that doesn't quite work. It's a fun community, but it doesn't quite fix the sharing issue. But I also don't think they want to do a full-blown Miiverse too, and make it a big actual social media website and stuff like this that rivals Twitter, basically, because that would be insane to upkeep and moderate. I think. Well, they could use their NSO mobile app, so. I think they could, because they've done stuff like the Smash Brothers part of that NSO mobile app had a sharing feature, and then they just randomly took it away for some reason. And I think with Splatoon as well, Splatoon is obviously huge on sharing. Like, a big part of that is drawing images and sharing them and then having them plastered around. And they've had to sort of nip that in the bud because they've taken away from Twitter. So you can transport your photos from the Switch to another device. But I don't think it's a very smooth system, the way it currently operates. So even if it's just updating that to make it easier for people to do, to be able to just send it to your mobile phone or your laptop or something like that for sharing, I just think Nintendo is going to do something to fix Twitter now that they're no longer doing Twitter sharing, and have that come out so that people can start sharing all of their game images and videos again. And I could easily see them doing it as their own special service that's part of NSO. Maybe it's an NSO feature that you can share images and stuff like that. We'll have to see. But I think they would want to announce it sooner rather than later. They could hold off until the Switch 2, but that would mean waiting almost an entire year without the ability to share on anything but Facebook. And I feel like they could have easily announced that they were dropping Twitter like a year ago, because obviously Sony and Microsoft both dropped Twitter, and Nintendo held on. But so why drop it now? Why not drop it back then when everyone could see that Twitter was falling to shit? And I think that the reason they announced it recently is because they finally have something that can work as a replacement, and fill the void that Twitter has left. So yeah. Yeah, there were some other things I could have included on here. Twilight Princess and Wind Waker Wii U ports are obviously been talked about for ages, and you're right, I think those are the only Wii U ports left. I've said this for a while, I don't think they're going to be porting Xenoblade Chronicles X, because I think that they would rather remake X, similar to how they remade the first Xenoblade Chronicles. And Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Wii U, as much as I love it, that game does need more like a rebuild than a remake. So I think they would rather do that, and I think that would be Switch 2 if it was anything. The reason I didn't include the Twilight Princess Wii U stuff is because I already had the Zelda one on here, and I'm trying to be as accurate as possible. Like, I want to actually get as many bingo hits as possible. Which is why, again, I think they're only announcing one NSO thing, so that's why I only included Dreamcast and not had Dreamcast and TurboGrafx as separate spots on the bingo board. And yeah, so I think that's it. I think this is going to be my predictions for tomorrow's Nintendo Direct. So cool, nice. Thank you everyone for joining me as I shared all of these. And if you're watching this not live, thank you for checking it out. And if you're watching this after the Nintendo Direct, let me know how I did down below. Tomorrow, for the Nintendo Direct, we will be live streaming our reactions to it on Source Gaming, not on this channel. Because members of the team are going to be live streaming it with me. It's not just going to be me. So go over to Source Gaming. Someone's going to set that up over the next few hours, I'm pretty sure, the live stream for that. And yeah, it should be a good one. It's nearly 40 minutes long, roughly 40 minutes long, this Direct, which is a good size. Means it makes me think that there's going to be quite a lot, because I don't think they're wasting 10 minutes of that showing off Luigi's Mansion 2. Or at least, God, I hope not. If this is really the final Nintendo Switch Direct, I think they're going to make it a big one. I think it's going to be good. Heck yeah, 30 minutes of farming games. No, it'll be at least 3 minutes of farming games. I'm sorry, Squid Sushi. Chibi Robo for Switch 2. That's when the Switch 2 is out, that's when I'll start putting Chibi Robo port on all of my bingo cards. But alright, cool. Thank you all for watching. And have a good rest of your evening, and I'll see you all tomorrow to react to the Nintendo Direct. Laters.